This is Time Warner Cable's local edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Our guest, Paul Koretz, member of the Los Angeles City Council. I live in your district, and about 2 or 3 years ago, in a wall that I shared with a neighbor, there was a swarm of bees living in the wall. 10 years ago, I would have said, kill them all. But something said to me, wait a sec, I think bees are in decline, so I called someone, they came, they removed them, they survived. That's a significant point, and I know that you've been looking at the safety and health of bees.
Well, we've been looking at it for a lot of reasons.
Right.
The primary one is that colonies all over the world are collapsing.
Right.
It's called colony collapse disorder. And there's a danger that honeybees may die off across the world, across the country. And folks as bright as Albert Einstein have theorized that the human race follows.
Well, we think about what bees do. I mean, they are the key pollinators. And that's the beginning of every agricultural production, is pollination.
We expect our agriculture would largely disappear.
Right.
And so, ironically, LA is a place where bees are thriving.
Right.
And so the guess is that's because we don't have a lot of commercial farming and we don't have a lot of the dangerous pesticides that go along with it. So as long as there's one area where bees are thriving, it makes sense for us to help with that.
And so there was an ordinance that recently came before the council. Why don't you explain that?
Well, there were 3 items that came before the council. One would take your situation where you have to remove a hive, and instead of what we often do now, which is put it in a box in the back of a pickup truck and let the bees all fly away, which ultimately kills them all because the hive is really a living organism. Without the queen bee and the hive, bees just fly off and they die in 2 or 3 days.
Right.
So what we will do with this direction, hopefully, is rescue the hive and bring it to a beekeeper.
I wonder what happened in my case. I don't know what they did.
They might have just killed off the bees.
I asked them not to, but I don't know the answer.
Yeah, hard to say.
Right.
But we would do that in all cases. We also are looking at federal legislation to put a stop to the use of the dangerous pesticides that are killing off the bees, as we believe is happening. And we would look at allowing beekeeping in R1 zones.
Right, that's what was my question. What happened with that?
All those things passed.
Oh, wow.
And so the ordinance will still have to be written up to make that change. But we will do all those things and hopefully continue to have bees thrive in Los Angeles. And maybe it even becomes an industry as bees disappear in the rest of the country and the rest of the world. As long as bees are thriving here, if we have too many of them, we'll export some of the hives and keep bees alive and thriving in our agriculture system until we identify for certain what the causes are and eliminate those.
In the backdrop, we know we're facing a significant drought in the state of California. Ironically, Southern California is not doing so bad because it had stored some water over the last few years. Be that as it may, that's not a reason for a celebration. We still are in drought. What can we do as Angelenos?
We survive for a while. We have a year or two of storage.
Better than some other parts of the state.
We may wind up having to be in the unusual situation of trying to get water back up to them. But we don't know if this is a 1-year drought or a 10-year drought or a 20-year drought, so we can't afford to be complacent. What we need to do long-term, I believe, is shore up our local resources. If you look, for instance, at Israel, they recycle between 80 and 90% of their water.
Well, see, there's a bond on the ballot, so maybe we'll be moving toward that.
Hopefully we will do a lot of those good things.
His name is Paul Koretz. He is a member of the Los Angeles City Council, and my name is Brad Pomerance. I thank you so much for watching Time Warner Cable's local edition.